did get 8 interviews from internal medicine this year.
I think can also be if you interact with, your seniors, or you do it strategically.
because you have to select the program rightly.
More applications is equal to match. I would say, yeah, okay.
Storytelling skills. It's not the poor profile, but how they articulate their journey, their fit. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Hopefully, you can all hear me well. And welcome to our webinar from USMLE Sarthi. And how it will work today is, the topic for today is the mistakes that IMGs make and why IMGs eventually don't match. So, part of it, of course, you have heard the narrative, the optics around visa. So, this is not the webinar where we are going to talk about things that you cannot control. So, visa is probably one of the things you cannot control. But we are going to talk about things that you can actually control, and all the speakers today that you will see, they are visa seeking applicants. So, so we will talk about things that you can control, even if you have an old YOG, multiple attempts, you're switching specialties, low scores, limited number of interviews, so on and so forth. So, for example, it's not only about high scores that you can match with high scores. Yes, that may be a prerequisite, but eventually it boils down to maybe the fit to the program and to the specialty, your communication skills. A lot of students have what we call poor storytelling skills. It's not the poor profile, but how they articulate their journey, their fit is something that they miss. Right? So that's one of the things which is related, of course, to the interview performance when applicant may be rambling and open-ended, not specific responses, memorization of the answer, so robotic replies, not very clear on why this program, why this specialty. Networking or lack of networking is another thing. So we have special classes where we talk about networking, program outreach, both before your interviews, during the interview season. So some of those things are a big red flag which prevents IMGs for matching. A lot of other things have come up, like poor program selection strategies. Now, every IMG applies for about 200 programs, but even in those, which programs to signal, how do you actually select those programs, can be the difference between 5 interviews and 1 interviews. Some of the other mistakes that we've seen IMGs do, underestimating the importance of step 3. Now, not everyone needs step 3, but based on your profile, whether you have low scores or older YOG or lack of clinical experience, step 3 can be very important. Then is relevant USCE and the quality of USCE. Some of that you will listen today from the speakers. So there are these kind of mistakes that we have seen over the years IMGs make. And what we wanted to do today was bring in some speakers who, like I said, are visa seeking. So it's not that visa is not an issue. Visa will be an issue, could be an issue for the next couple of years, but there are still a lot of things that you can control. So with that, let me kick it off and invite first Dr. Ajinkya Mahurkar, very accomplished, a very unique profile. But I will let him talk about his profile and his interviews and his journey so that you can all learn from it. So Ajinkya, welcome, and the floor is all yours.
Thank you, Pawan sir, for having me here, and a very good evening from India. As Pawan sir said, I have a unique profile in the sense I am a very old YOG, like 13 years. I passed my MBBS in 2012. So, but I'm practicing cardiologist here since 5 years in India. So I have a long YOG, but it has been in clinical continuity all throughout. In fact, I have accomplished whatever can be done in my home country. So matching into internal medicine was very, very difficult or challenging at times. I remember I asked Dr. Pavan sir, should I apply for medicine or not altogether, given this red flag sign? But to my surprise, I did get 8 interviews from internal medicine this year, and I received a pre-match from a community hospital in New York as well. But over these time, there had been changes in some pathways, and I chose to take a fellowship over the residency pathway, and so I'll be a incoming fellow in University of Kansas next year. So all here to help and
So,
encourage older YOGs, especially. Yeah.
so Ajinkya, one question, of course, if we'll get to it later. Why did you pick a fellowship versus a residency? But that aside, I mean, even in residency, you got 8 interviews, right? So talk to us about what you did. I know you did rotations and other stuff. So talk to us on how you prepared, regardless of your matching into fellowship. I know you were doing both the tracks, but what was your preparation like other than the exams?
Yeah, I completed my step 3 back in 2023. Apart from giving step 3, what I did was 2 things. I networked. I researched who all from my alumni from the place I passed my MBBS, my MD, for that matter, my cardiology fellowship here in India. So I saw all the alumni of those colleges who are there in US, and I made a point that I either LinkedIn message them or text message them, or I got into groups of alumni who were there in US, and then had a talk with them. Like you would be surprised how helpful they are. I received help from places I didn't expect. Frankly speaking, the alumni would have not met me in the college, but they were so helpful for me. Like they'll put in a word, they'll connect me with someone, and you never know which door will lead you where. So I think asking for help from people whom you don't know, but they are alumni from your college, is one big thing that helped me. And the second thing is my reach out messages, like which is very necessary when you are done with putting your ERAS applications. After a week, I had already made my mails and my list. I just had to click a time and send them. So, and those mails have to be realistic. Like you can't beat around the bush. And then you have to be straightforward. You have to put in your marks. You have to say what value you add. You have to say what training you had. You have to sell your training you have in your country. So I think that was a very plus point for me. And whatever the skills you are there to offer them, what you can offer to the program, is what I focused on the mails. And like out of the 8 interviews I got 5 replies for the reach out message, almost from the APD or the PD. And thankfully, I am so thankful for them that it was so encouraging for me. And I think 5 interviews I got from my reach out emails, which I sent them after the interviews. So that is one thing you people must focus on, I guess.
Yeah, no, this is very interesting. So one, I think I caught something. One is step 3. So you did step 3, which obviously helped you. Then was networking with the alumni, which is great. I think it opened a lot of doors. And then the third is direct reach out to the residency programs with very customized messaging and the value you bring. And you did get, like you're saying, a total of 8 residency interviews. So that's great. You eventually did get a pre-match offer, which of course you're not taking. But even with all this credentials that you had, very, very exemplary credentials in your home country, you did still do US clinical experience,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So talk
yeah,
to us
yeah.
a bit about USE, even if probably from a learning perspective, from a clinical perspective, I don't know how much value it added, but it may have helped you understand the US healthcare system.
Absolutely, absolutely. There is no iota of doubt that US clinical experience is very necessary. Like, I have been practicing cardiology here from 5 years, but things practice in US is altogether a different game than it is in your home country. Who else is listening? So it is very necessary, and there is a discussion. Like in my interviews, I had a discussion with in the with the program director or these people. They ask you, what difference do you find working there and working here? What all work you have done here? So it is very necessary. And to be very frank, it sends a good message if you know how the workflow is in US. If you know that how the system runs, then the program director or the institute will love to take you. So yeah, the more experience you have, the more better it is, and it shows when they interview. It shows, you can't hide it. This is what I feel.
So, just building on that, maybe the last kind of question is, how did you prepare for interviews? How was the Sarthi resources helpful? I know you took rotations also, and interview prep and all of that. So how was all that utilized? How did
Yeah,
you
obviously,
utilize the Sarthi
obviously. Yeah, yeah. The thing is, if you are applying for a residency, you must start preparing for, after step three, you must start preparing for the interview, because interview can be a game changer. Like, I didn't have very sky high scores. I had 240 plus scores, but the amount, like, I know people who don't have red flag signs. The friends I made in my US clinical experience there, they have 250 plus marks and couldn't get that much of interviews. Like, networking plus learning how to do give interviews is very necessary. After step three, the next thing you people must do is start preparing for interview. Like, it can be a game changer. Absolutely. And Sarthi connected me to a mentor, and I had so much support and guidance from those people, so that you can navigate whatever doubts you have, what to say, what not to say in interviews. Yeah, yeah. So it helps a lot.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Ajinkya. Any other tips that we may have missed? Anything else that you want to communicate to the aspiring
Yeah,
applicants?
yeah. I would like to say and reiterate. Uh, don't say that you don't have any connections. You have to make connections. Like, you have to dig in. You have to find out, a 5 year senior to me is in this university, someone is there. Reach them. You would be surprised how helpful they are. You would be surprised if you tell them they are from this college, and they'll be very happy to help you. So like, not to give excuses that I don't have connections. Networking is very necessary. Networking helped me a lot, frankly speaking.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you very much,
Thank you.
Ajinkya. I know you're very busy. You're still working in your home country. So thank you for
Yeah,
taking time out, and
thank you.
good luck for your upcoming USMLE
Fellowship.
or US journey.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. So before we move on to Dr. Rishabh Lohi, couple of questions that I can see I'm going to take. Red flags. What are the red flags? So red flags can be different things, maybe low scores, maybe, older YOG, maybe gaps in your clinical experiences. All of them can be red flags. Okay. Which programs should we signal? I didn't get interview from 9 of my signaled programs. So now, of course, the season is over in terms of signaling and application. Probably, the signaling strategy was incorrect. Hassan if you didn't get interviews from 9 of the signal programs, but it could also be a lack of follow-ups, like Ajinkya mentioned. If you signal the program, were they the right fit? Did you follow up with them, and how did you select those programs based on whether they were all reach programs or were they within your score range and YOG range? So it can be a lot of things. Maybe you can set up time with us, and Mugda, you can send a link to the profile review, so we can help you if you don't end up matching or you don't have interviews. So, Ajinkya, maybe one question before I let you go. There is a question from Sita saying, after MBBS, if someone has done MD, so this is the home country residency, would that be called as a gap?
Yeah, that's a art to sell. If you can sell it, as an experience, that would be a badge on your CV. And I did the same way. I presented myself by doing MD and my cardiology fellowship as a plus point to the that is the value you will add to the program. Your
Yeah.
rich experience in your home country.
Yeah,
I see it that way.
absolutely. Well, thank you. Thank you, Ajinkya. So let's move on and we'll take questions later on as well. So welcome, Rishabh. Welcome. And why don't you introduce yourself and then, talk to us a bit about what mistakes you've seen. I know you help IMGs as well. So what mistakes have you seen over the years?
Sure, sure. Happy to help that. Good morning, everyone. My name is Rishabh Loi. I'm one of the third year family medicine resident here in University of North Dakota. Yeah, so briefly about me, my year of graduation was 2020, and this was my first application cycle. Got few interviews and lucky to match in the same cycle. Was always interested in family medicine over internal medicine, which I can elaborate like for like 50 minutes if needed, but we won't go there. But yeah, this cycle I applied for sleep medicine fellowship and going to start that in Louisiana Shreveport University. So that's briefly my profile. Few things I would like to talk initially, and then I'm open to answer any questions, or if Pawan sir has anything that he wants me to talk specifically or emphasize specifically on, we will go like that. Okay. The first thing, I worked hard, so I should match. Yeah, it is true to some extent. Hard work always pays off, but then strategy comes along and then fate also. So it's a fine balance of everything. You can't say that, oh, I keep putting hard work, but I don't strategize my hard work and I'll still match. So everything has to be strategized, including your academics, your US clinical experience, broadly speaking, your confidence in interviews, your performance in interviews, your interaction, how they feel you as a resident, or whenever they are talking to you about one specific question during the interview, they it's not just a question and answer session. It's more of they want to know you as a person, and that's like the baseline thought they always have, or the thought in background. So don't take every question as, oh, you they ask you question, you answer them, and don't play it as a question and answer session. Make it more as an interactive session, like we mentioned earlier, like robotic sessions and all those things. That's where it comes, like they make it as a red flag, or would rank you relatively lower, or won't even rank you. So every session has to be more interactive from that aspect. Then high scores is equal to match. That's true, but not 100% again. High scores increases your chance to match. I have seen a lot of people with barely passing score, they still match in the same cycle, whereas a lot of people who had like 260s, 270s still didn't even manage to match even after getting like 10, 15 interviews. So again, emphasizing here, it's more of how you perform in interview. One can be good academically, can be good in good book person, good in reading, but don't have might not have much confidence when it comes to play in interview or interact in interview. So don't take it like 100% that if you have 100, if you have good scores, you will 100% match. Everything has to make a fine balance over here. More applications is equal to match. I would say, yeah, okay, fine. But again, more applications, if you do more, apply to more program, you get more interviews. That could increase your chance according to stats. But if you are again not performing that well in interview, or if you are not prepared for your interviews, if you are not performing to the level they would like to you to talk in the interview, again, then even getting 30 plus interviews won't make your pathway towards success. Good intentions, maybe match, yeah. Definitely, everyone has good intentions here. No one comes with bad intention or to harm other people or create mess here while working as a resident or working as a physician in US. But uh, again, intentions. Everyone can keep good intentions, but strategize, confidence, and all that stuff has to come here. Play a good role here. Whenever they are talking, they are asking you question, or mostly you might have heard in a Sati session about some situational questions, when they throw you under bus, like, oh, if you had a difficult day, how would you manage? Or if you have a stressful situation, how would you manage? The main reason to ask those questions is they would like to know you as a person. They just don't want an answer out of that question. They want to judge your personality. So frame those answers very beautifully, answer them as if you are actually living that situation and what would you do in that situation. Don't bring up an answer. That's what I would recommend. Don't bring up an answer just to, oh, they asked a question and you are answering it. So all they want is a good fit to program when it comes to work with your co-resident, junior resident, or senior resident. A person who can actually manage tough situation, a person who can be very respectful towards their attending, and very interactive, very helpful, always available. Like they want a all-rounder personality. There have been some university programs I have seen by myself. They just in previously they targeted it more of like high score people, but then there were some personality clashes. So now they are turning towards not 100%, but at least like they find a good fit. They might prefer someone with 230s, 240s over 260, 270s. If that 230, 240 score person has better personality than the person with highest score. So I would say prepare as an all-rounder, tick every box over here, accept your red flag, work around your red flag, and make your profile sound like, okay, yeah, this guy or this girl or this particular person could be a good fit for our program. Me in particular, I had low scores. Like I'm not a good exam person. I had low scores in all three steps. But the whole profile, I made it around like never. My scores never came up. Not even my residency interviews. Not even my fellowship interviews. Uh, Even single interview, and I barely passed. Like passing scores were there, but like still I managed to get into fellowship as well.
So I think I want to pause you here and ask you specifically when it came to fit for family medicine. What all did you do that made you a perfect or a good candidate for FM in terms of your USC, in terms of research or volunteering? How did you customize your profile?
Yeah, so basically working with more family medicine attending or working in more family medicine oriented environment definitely helped getting more and more USC, just not getting like 4 months of experience to get four LORs. It was more than that, getting to know system from family medicine aspect more and more, because family medicine is way different branch than any other branch. It is like primary care specialty, where they don't want anyone who is not good fit for that, because for your whole life if you work as a family medicine physician, you are going to interact with everyone at baseline. So I made sure that I get more and more experience in that field. My profile talks about that. So doing more outpatient as well as inpatient in family medicine, particular working with those attending definitely helped. Then volunteer work. It doesn't matter if you do here or if you do back in your home country. And then all the research work, whatever you have to have at least some on your profile, like touching base more on the primary care aspect in those, or demonstrating your interest in primary care definitely helps.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but go
No,
ahead.
no, 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 that's okay. Yeah, that was all my answer. Yeah.
Okay. Now, we spoke about interview preparation, articulation, and fit and all that. But I think, and maybe part of it is, how long do you think the preparation typically takes, after the exam? So, when it comes to USC research, if someone, for example, is planning to apply in September of 2026, do they have enough time?
I think so, yeah. Like if they already have done some US clinical experience, they should do little bit more, and wherever they find resources here in US, at any other place or back in home country, whatever research aspect, like they can find papers, get enroll themselves in there. I think it's sufficient time beginning now if they are already done with the exams. And talking about exam, step three is crucial thing for most of the family medicine programs, because most of the family medicine programs are like smaller programs and they have less residents as compared to most of the internal medicine program. So they want to keep a person, or they want to preferably choose a person who is already done with step 3 a lot. Not every program, it's not like a ticking box criteria, but it's more of like if you are done, they will prefer you.
Okay. Maybe last question before I let you go, because a lot of applicants have confusion or not much clarity between internal medicine and family medicine, right? So we can talk in detail, as you said, in 50 minutes, but that's for later. But if you
Yeah.
were to explain it a couple of minutes,
Yeah.
what is the difference in the US when we are talking family medicine versus internal medicine?
Sure. Yeah. So family medicine, primarily it's outpatient setting. You take care of all the patients. You can pretty much do pediatric practice, women's health. You can do adult patients. You can do acute, chronic management, whatever you want to do. Even family medicine, and this is something not a whole lot of applicants know. You can work as a full-time attending or an inpatient attending, like a internal medicine. Some programs or some organization allow you straight up. Some people require a hospitalist fellowship, which is just 12 months after family medicine. So that's where they overlap. But the key differences are internal medicine is more of acute inpatient or acute care. Family medicine involves acute as well as chronic care. Like once a child is born, you can pretty much take care of them till they die. So through all the generations, you can take care of everything, every aspect of that. And then if your patient becomes pregnant, you can take care of prenatal care. Yeah, and you can, like as a family medicine, you can actually do vaginal deliveries, like you are licensed to do that after your residency. And if you want to do more of OB, or if someone is coming from OB background, let's say someone already did a OB residency in India or some home country, after doing family medicine, they do have a OB fellowship as well. So like it has a whole lot of other stuff. Plus, you can do outpatient procedures in a rural setting, like doing the colonoscopy and this and that. Like there is a whole lot of that details about that. But there is, like, family medicine people do a whole lot than internal medicine. Internal medicine, acute care, inpatient setting is mostly it is about.
Well, thank you very much, Rishabh. Appreciate your time and willingness to help IMGs. So, thank you and good luck in your sleep medicine fellowship.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Uh, I will take a couple of questions before I move to Prabnor. So, Mahesh is asking, I have 10-year YOG. I was asked whether I am trainable. Great question, and you all should be prepared for it, especially those of you with the long YOG, because that's a very, very typical expectation. What happens, as you probably know, is if you have a 10-year YOG, even your attendings may have less experience and they may be younger than you, and they want to make sure that you can work well with people who are much younger in experience and in age, and you are not set in your ways. You are trainable. I mean, something with Ajinkya, I think, demonstrated very, very well during his journey. Imagine someone with a residency and fellowship already done in home country, and applying for residency. So that's a very key trait that they expect from older YOGs. Uh, how much of low score is acceptable? I think someone is asking. Ufaq is asking. I think I'll guide you to NRMP reports. They typically have the averages, but again, those are just averages. Uh, I don't think score low or high. I would say 220s, regardless of a specialty, is a low score. 245 plus is a high score, and then you play within those. But again, score by itself is just one criteria. It is not the only criteria. Everyone should know that. All right. We will take questions later on, and there is another speaker who will join us. But before I do that, let me welcome Prabnoor Saraya. Again, very accomplished former Sarthi students, has been helping IMGs. So, Prabnoor, welcome. And why don't you introduce yourself? And then we'll talk about some of the mistakes you have seen which prevents IMGs from matching.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you for having me. My name is Prabnoor Saraya. I am an IMG from India. My year of graduation is 2020. I started my medical school in 2013. And then I took a year, I prolonged my internship for 1 year to get US clinical experience, and this was happening during COVID time. So this is where the USMLE Sarthi came in, and I approached them for the US clinical experience. And then after that, I had a good amount of experience, and I knew that I wanted to be in family medicine because I love outpatient, and I love seeing kids, and I love seeing adults and geriatric population. So I always knew that I wanted to go that route. So from the get go, I knew that I wanted US clinical experience in family medicine. So I had always focused in getting that experience initially. And then I also had researched, and I had partnered with the USMLE Sarthi, and I had a mentor with them. So, I mean, that really helped because I had a family medicine mentor, and he could tell me, what I need to have in my profile, and, how I need to navigate through this. So, I knew that I had to get like the volunteer thing ticked off, and I had to get some research. I wouldn't say I'm a research person, but I have done my fair share where I can at least say that I can tick it off, and I don't have to put that as a deficiency. So after that, I matched here. I received about 5 to 6 interviews, and I had a good amount of 8 to 9 months of experience, and that was primarily outpatient. I had one inpatient experience. And I after that I've been in North Dakota, and I have now I just finished off my fellowship interviews, and I now matched in Cleveland Clinic for sleep medicine fellowship. So that's where I'm going. So finished a round of interviews there. I think I've been through this journey. I know what it feels like when you're at that side of the table, and you feel really overwhelmed. This journey tests a lot of your patience, a lot of financial struggles, a lot of questions on yourself. But I think the one thing that I wanted to pick up today and talk about was your storytelling. I think that's very, very important. And that's where I think a lot of people, and I was seeing your questions too. A lot of people were posting questions about low scores and year of graduations. I think that's a and how I like to perceive it. And because now we deal with the interviews in our program too, and I know, what the attendings think and how they think about it. I think it's one part of your profile, but it shouldn't speak your whole story. So I think as you should focus on it in a way that you should just frame it into you should have a story, know that this is a part of your story, but you shouldn't make it your whole story. I think what people tend to do is even when they write PS and CVs, either they will totally eliminate their red flags, or they will totally just talk about their red flags, which is not right. Because I think and I've seen a lot of people and I've interacted a lot of people too, and I'm sure a lot of people messaging have accomplished a lot. So you guys are more than just a low score and a year of graduation. Yes, they matter. I wouldn't say they don't matter, but it is the way you have stuff on your CV. You should have everything on your CV, and you should have good hobbies. Because I think a lot of my interviews, mostly all my interviews, were about my hobbies. You should have good amount of, interaction, a good personality. I think like all the speakers have said so far. You should have confidence, because I think what I've observed is a lot of people, they lack confidence when they are on in front of the person talking about themselves. They lack even though they've accomplished a lot, they will lack confidence to present it in a way and formulate it in a way that they can present it in a good way in front of the speaker. So I think your way of storytelling, you should have an art of storytelling. You don't need to be an author to write a book or stuff. I'm not saying that, but there's an art to everything. Interview is an art. Writing and presenting yourself, selling yourself is an art. So I think that you need to learn. And that I think can also be if you interact with your seniors, or you pick up even USMLE Sarthi, and you tell them that this is the point that I'm lacking, I don't know how to formulate that. They will give you pointers. And I think you and I used to look at a lot of YouTube videos. I used to look at a lot of if I'm applying to an X program, I would look at the graduating class, how they speak, what they like, how they're interacting. So I think you have to do your homework from your end too, before you say that this is the only problem I had, or this is why I did not match. Because there are a lot of loopholes. If you look closely at your profile, there'll be a lot of loopholes that we could have filled, but they could not be filled in right time. So yeah, I think your PS is, and I very much emphasize this, PS is your whole story. Your CV tells a lot about you academically, but your PS is your whole story. So I think your PS has to be written beautifully. I've seen a lot of PSs now from our programs too, where they start with the same narrative, and almost 10 plus 20 plus PSs are almost the same. So I think if you think from an attending perspective, they're not going to be interested in looking at those PSs. So it has to be authentic, is what I feel. You have to write your own story. You can't just formulate or weave out a story that you think will impress them. It has to be authentic by you. And I think that has to be well written. It has to be beautiful. It has to tell your story. It has to be engaging for them, so that they shouldn't put your PS down. Because that is, before you get an interview, that's where they know you from, right? Interview, yes, they get to know you more, but that's the first document that they pick up, and they're like, okay, no, we're interested in this. Obviously your scores and your CV do come with it, but like your PS speaks a lot too. So I think that's where I'm like, your CV has to be strong in a way that even if you lack at one point, you should have all the others filled out. um, I had some of the research, so I did not use it, but I know USMLE Sarthi has a good research program that they operate, where I've seen a lot of my fellows or my colleagues who've done that, and they, filled that spot up. You should have good amount of USCE, which speaks for your profile. So if you are applying for surgical services, or if you're applying for OBGYN, but your OUSCE is in psychiatry, that's not going to work, even if you get like 6+ experiences. So that has to be, you have to be from the very get go, you have to be very consistent. You should know what you want to apply for and then craft your profile accordingly. And your PS should be very, very stellar. That's what I feel and I've learned throughout. And obviously, then comes your interview. You have to sell yourself in the interview. You have to be confident. You have to learn the art of confidence. It is not going to come over time. And it's also because I think, for speaking from my country, I think we don't have that culture of interviews in our medical schools. We have a lot of exams, so we're good at exams, and we get that. But like the interviews here, they are more about interviews, your all round personality. So I think that's where we tend to get a little bit stuck too. That maybe if my scores are good, I would get matched. It is not their criteria. I think they do look at scores, but they want a good person. So if they keep you, they can talk to you, they can delegate some stuff to you, they know that you're reliable, they know that you're funny, and what, interactive. So all of that, because we get our patient experiences back too. Patients, they give us their feedbacks too. So if you're not a not a good interactor, you're not good engager, obviously the patient care is also going to get affected. So they think on a lot of aspects when when you're here. So I would say working on your communication skills, working on sitting in front of the camera, looking at the camera, looking at the other person's eyes, not intimidatingly, but like some, having that confidence to look and not look somewhere else. I think that's a big thing, and I think we miss that, and somehow that gets picked up when we interview, no matter what our experience has been. So I think your storytelling from the get go has to be very consistent with your goals, and then you have to work very hard, sit with yourself, and just think that this is what I'm lacking. Like I know that I don't have good communication skills. I know I don't have good exam taking skills. I think, and practice more on that. And if you know that you are lacking something, I think you should approach USMLE Sarthi and just ask them bluntly that this is my profile, I'm lacking in this, I don't think I have this, what do you recommend? Rather than I think, rather than wasting time and months of your life in navigating it yourself, if you have somebody who can help you, I think that is going to be golden. So I think that's what I felt.
One last question, Prabnur, but thank you very much for this extensive guidance and tips. One question, a lot of students apply to multiple specialties, IM,
Mhm.
FM, PEDS. So what is your opinion on this scattergun approach?
Yeah, I think so. If you can do it strategically, you can make it your way. Like, if, because FM and PEDS and psych, you can still kind of have it on your profile and you can apply it, because FM does look over PEDS, we do look over psychiatry, we have a lot of mental health population coming to us. We can look over like OBGYN and all that too. So if you're applying for PEDS, you can, if they ask you, you can at least answer them that this is because I was interested in this and that's why I'm applying for this. But like, if you're applying for I don't know, if you're applying for acute general surgery, and you're applying for psychiatry, that doesn't make sense. And they can obviously see your profile, and we've had candidates here too who've applied, and we know, we talk amongst ourselves that why is this person applying here. So if you have like IM and FM, it still makes sense, because you can do both. You can, have inpatient and outpatient experience in both. But then if they have that question, then you need to be prepared to pick up either, would you prefer FM or IM. But there are certain specialties that can be mixed together and it can be okay. But there are certain specialties which you should not mix. And that is something that you need to figure out. If there's nothing common, don't pick those specialties together.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much, Prabnur. Appreciate your time and good luck in your upcoming fellowship.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right, let's move on. Before that, let me take a couple of questions. Realistic to match? Is it realistic to match with little or no USC, even with plenty of research? I think again, it depends. We'll need to look at your profile. So, that we can give you a better picture. So Mugdha had posted a link. Maybe she can post a link again on the profile review that you can just set up with us. There are a lot of other rotations also that we have at this point. They are offering a lot of discounts. So anyone who is interested, whether it is, internal medicine, so there is tele rotations for those of you who cannot travel with two LORs, those kind of things, or FM rotations with program director for those of you interested in FM. Again, in a tele sense, Mugda can post some links, or those of you who need visa invite letter. So we have certain rotations that give you visa invitation letter from a hospital setting as well. So visa invite letter. This is in Hemong, director of Hemong. So there are rotations that can help you as well. So take a look at that as Mugda is posting. And I will take questions after the next speaker as well. So now let's move on to the next speaker. I think Dr. Raman Singla is joining us. So again, a very, very accomplished profile visa seeking applicant, but I will let him introduce, and then Raman, maybe we'll get into what mistakes you have seen others do or how you navigated your journey.
Thank you for very much. So, hi everyone. I think you might have heard very interesting profiles till now. So, let me introduce myself briefly, and I'll tell you what I have done, and let's go through it. So, my name is Raman Singla, and basically, I did my schooling and everything from India, and I did my undergraduation as many of you have done. After that, I did my post graduation, that is the home country residency from All India Institute, New Delhi. You might have heard of the name. After that, I thought that I'll okay, now what? So I moved to London after that, and I worked in pediatric intensive care in King's College Hospital for 2.5 years, and then I moved to Birmingham Children's Hospital, where I am working in pediatric intensive care. So looking at my profile, everyone will say that, oh, you have a very good profile, and you'll straight away match, because I had few research projects which has been published in international journals, but that was not the same case. So my story was, I applied last year for the match, where unfortunately I got only single interview, despite of having observership from Boston Children's Hospital, from where I had interview with the director before even start of the match cycle, and still I did not get any interview from there. And then I was like, what has happened? Why didn't I get any of the interview? What was wrong with it? And that's when I still remember it was 8 p.m. in the night, and I texted Dr. Pawan that, okay, what should I do, as in where I am lacking? And then we had a chat. He looked into my profile, and we figured out that I just had one of the observerships and not much UCSC. I think one of you guys have mentioned that as well. So it totally depends on your profile. In my profile, I had the qualification, I am interested in PEDS, and I had the research, but it was the UCSC which was one of the factors. Second factor was step 3, which I undertook after the first match cycle, which has made a significant improvement, as I am going to describe you. So I did this, I did 2 more UCSs after that in the pediatrics, and then I took step 3, which I passed. And next cycle I applied, I worked on every single step of it. Every single step means I worked on my application. I sat down every day, 2 to 3 hours, looked into it, what is wrong, how this part of the application is delivering, because earlier my application was more sort of intensive care like, but after remodifying it, it is more like pediatric resident, how I am going to be a pediatric resident. If you are MBBS student, your application should be like how you are going to become a resident in their program. That's what they are looking for. That's what I understood after first time. And then I worked on my personal statement as well, and Prabnur was also mentioning, personal statement has to be specific to you, not to someone else, and it should depict your story, why you are doing this. So I had old YOG, as many of you might have. So I passed my MBBS in 2019, and basically I depicted that how I remained in touch with medicine, how I remained in touch with pediatrics after 2019. You have to explain, either it is personal reason, you have to explain it very clearly rather than just hiding it, because hiding means a red flag, and if you can't explain it, they won't be able to give you an interview. If you explain that like I explained, and then this time when I applied, I got almost 20 interviews. No one believed it. When I talked to my few of my colleagues, and I told them, like my friends who are in US, and I told them that last time I only got one interview, and this time I got 20 interviews. They were like, what have you changed all of a sudden? And after that, it comes the interview practice, which I did. As a Prabhu, again, she was mentioning that we are not used to give interviews, we are not used to communicate, and more of virtual media, it is very difficult to have the personal touch. You might not have the personal touch, but you have to be as interactive as you can be. You have to make that conversation, you have to feel them that okay, you are a good doctor who can take care of their patients, because that's when they are going to trust on you and they are going to offer your position. So after those 20 interviews, then comes to the program selection, because you have to select the program rightly. Last time I did the mistake that I relied on bigger programs, I signaled the big programs, I signaled Boston Children's Hospital. My profile is good enough for the fellowship, but my profile is not good enough for the resident. So you have to look into your profile, discuss with like I discussed with Dr. Pawan. So you have to discuss with your mentor what your profile fits the program, and you have to look at the program as well, whom they are selecting. Now this time I got the pre-match, and I have been selected in a program who selects candidates like me, who have previous background with the residency, with the pediatric background. So you have to look into it, what program is selecting and how your profile is matching to that program. So after like when I was selecting this program, I got the pre-match, and then I again called Dr. Pawan that okay, I got interview from Seattle Children's Hospital, I got interview from St. Louis Hospital, which is very big hospital. So I was like, should I go for them or should I take this pre-match? And then we discussed, and again coming to the program selection, that's very important, that okay, if I have to rank that program, I'll be ranking fourth or fifth in my list, and if I am ranking fourth or fifth, then there is no fun of leaving this program and risking it for the others big program which might not take me. And that's when I selected this program. So this was my complete journey in very nutshell, although this was very big journey for me, and this was the last time I was applying for match. I was like, if I'm not going to match this time, I might not apply at next time, because I have to move forward. So what I'll say is be consistent, be persistent, work on your things every day, think about it, how you are going to get better. Do networking is important, it is very important. Networking is not only by one means. It could be that you ask your seniors and make contacts by that, networking by LinkedIn, networking by Facebook, whatsoever way you can network, it is better to network, so that once the interview season is on, you people can vouch for you. Like I did one of the this externship with USMLE Sarthi, and the preceptor of that externship, she was so impressed with me, she said that okay, I am going to vouch for you. So you have to work hard, not even in your clinic, not in your hospital, in your externship as well. You have to show that you have that dedication. They can even vouch for you that okay, I'll call this program director, and they'll definitely make sure that you'll get interview, and then it's the interview you have to crack. So I'll stop there, because this was the journey in nutshell. I can discuss more and more, because it's 2 years, it's not just a single day.
No, I think this is very, very interesting and very, very helpful, because I think the one of the interesting things you said was, and there was a question on that, I applied to 200 programs, no interviews. I think what you clearly mentioned is the program selection is the key, right? Which type of program is taking your type of applicants? That's where you have to signal, that's where you have to focus, because a lot of students randomly apply, and because everyone else is applying, so they apply to those 200 programs. So I think yes, applying to more program helps, but researching the programs before you apply can be a big this thing. Okay, So, any other tip that you think we missed? Anything else, Raman? What have you
Mm,
seen other applicants make mistakes? I mean, you've been in this journey for 2 years, so you must have interacted with other applicants.
I think what I have seen is that happens quite often. Because some people say that LOR doesn't matter. So few of the faculty members told me to write the LOR in the first place. Usually that is not discussed in the journey. Some of the faculty will tell you, okay, write your LOR and I'll see and I'll amend and I'll send it there. So when I wrote my LOR, I wrote the specific instance. Okay, I encountered Hunter syndrome in the clinic, and that's what I write. And then I still remember in one of the interviews, one of the interviewers read my LOR in front of me that this is what has been written for you. As in, you are a good team player, you have been evolved in the team. So LOR does matter. Every single thing of your application does matter. So do the LOR. So yeah.
Yeah. No, the quality of LOR, you're right. How specific it is, how customized it is, and to what you have done, I think is very, very important. Yep. All right. Well, thank you. Thank you very much, Raman. Appreciate your time. And of course, congratulations once again on getting about 20 interviews and finally making it to US. Good luck in your upcoming residency start.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, let's move on. So, in terms of if you are interested, we do have our residency match plans, and Mugda, maybe you can post. So, I think both Ajinkya and Raman, they were in platinum plan where you are assigned a mentor and you work with the mentor. You obviously mock interviews, IRAS, PSCV, all of that is covered. So Mugda is going to post that link, and we do have some discounts at this point, that early bird discounts if you are interested. So that you can do. So I will take a few questions again. Mahesh, you're asking, worked on my CV, PS was good. Again, highlighted my journey. It's very hard for me to answer, what went wrong with your application. You did have few interviews, so I don't know how much that is few, but set up time with us and then we can get into more specifics of what you could have done better. But if you have interviews, I hopefully you will match in the season. If not, then we can talk later on as well. Um, so again, in terms of getting more interviews, Suchit is asking, how do you get from 1 to 20? So I don't know if Raman is still there. If not, again, it's more about so Raman is there. So yes, Raman, maybe you can take this question explicitly. What all changes? I know you had Sarthi mentorship and all of that.
Yes.
What changed? I mean, basically, that is what students are interested in knowing. What changed in your application?
So let's start from October when basically got only one interview last October, not this October. Last October when I only got one interview, I was waiting every single day to get more and more interviews, but nothing was there. And then I decided to do step 3. That was the first step I did. Second step is I looked into my CV. I was not able to figure out anything, and I sorted out Sathi mentorship, and I figured out that what is wrong with it. And what I want you everyone to have your mentorship early in the cycle rather than late, because once you are in near this end of the, as in the interview season is starting, you might not have the benefit of observerships, rotations, externship, whatsoever you are doing. So I started my mentorship, I think around February or March, and then I understood that I need to do observerships, and I planned 2 more observerships while I was working in US, and one was in New York and one was in Chicago. And then after doing that observerships, I worked every single day 2 to 3 hours, not much more time, but 2 to 3 hours every single day with a fresh set of mind. What is wrong in my CV? every single point I checked, I went through myself first, and then I sit down with the mentor in Sathi, as Pawan was mentioning. I sit down with them and they went through every single point, grammatical, non-grammatical, what does that depict, and how I can improve and show that my experience is actually there. I have treated 100,000 patients till now. I have handled OPD of 80. I am handling pediatric cardiac ICU, ECMO patients, everything. But how can I reflect it so that someone knows that, okay, I have that experience? That's what I have done differently, and I got the interviews.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you, Raman. Appreciate it. Thank you. All right. So let me take some other questions. By the way, we are offering step one and exam prep mentorship for those of you interested. Mugda has posted a link, but many of you had asked, those who were starting the journey, how can we help? And so exam prep mentorship is something that we have started. You can take a look at that. Uh, you know, so some of the other things, research programs. So Mugda, maybe you can post that link. More important is if you want to keep updated, on our Instagram and YouTube, we do run open Telegram group as well. So join those if you want to stay updated. But like I said, for those of you who are planning their match or their application in the next season, September of 2027. Okay, or I'm sorry, September 26, but March 27. Now would be the time to look at some of the strategies, which rotations to do, what type of research outputs can help you. And like Raman said, if you need help with the match, so what kind of plan you can take where we can give you mentorship and all of that. So do that and set up time with us for a free profile review that can help you all in the coming season. With that, if there are more questions, please post them now. I will take them, and hopefully this webinar was helpful. But if I missed a question, post it now. Now I'm looking at the screen and I can answer your questions if you have anything that we did not cover. Importance of research position in strengthening your CV. Research position, I'm assuming you mean full-time research position. So it depends. It is important. So for example, if you are applying to internal medicine and you end a full-time research position in, say, Cleveland Clinic in one of the IM subspecialties, it'll be very, very helpful. However, remember that other aspects are also important. Just getting a research position without adequate US clinical hands-on experience probably is not going to help. Also, remember that research positions are hard to come by now with some of the funding cuts, and it takes time. So if you're getting a research position, some of these things are what we also discuss in our mentorship. We go over your profile and then tell you whether, if you have to take it on J1, whether it's worth it or not. Does number of research count, especially for internal medicine? So if you look at NRMP data, number of researches is just one criteria. I think publications where you are either the first or the last author is really, really important. So the quality is more important. Number of researches for IMGs, remote, I did 5 researches, may not be that impactful. I think you have to target actual either abstracts or conference presentations or publications, manuscripts. Conference publications are very, very important, and we do help with all of those. Best approach for networking, again, it depends. We've done a lot of YouTube videos. We do have classes where we go over each and every conference in details, because like family medicine has different conferences, pediatrics or IM or some of those have different conferences. How do you call the program? How do you use LinkedIn? So there are a lot of approaches to networking, personal, professional networking. It's part of our classes. We do have a lot of YouTube videos as well. Importance of family medicine orthopedics in US. I'm not sure I understand the question. Both are important. Orthopedics is very hard to get through as an IMG for sure, right? Does telerotation count as USCE? So ideally, I would want you to have some on-site rotations if you are in the US and if you have a US travel visa. But there are students, and even in this season, a student we have who took a pre-match, who got the visa rejected, did telerotations and matched on the strength of telerotation. So, am I recommending only telerotations? No. But all I'm saying is, if you are not in the US, telerotations can be a very good substitute. Don't let lack of your visa prevent you from applying, because if telerotations you can combine with other aspects of your profile can actually help you even if you could not travel to the US. But if you can travel to the US or you are already in the US, strongly recommend on-site US clinical experience. Is it acceptable to complete last observership in September 26 and give step 3 in October and November and still apply for 27 math? So I will have to see your CK score and other things before I can tell you what your options will be in 27 cycle if you are applying in October and November. So set up time with us and then we'll go from there. Can someone on F1 visa do rotations? Again, if you are looking for rotations and if you are in US, yes, the preceptors don't really look at your F1 and all. And on F1, you do have some kind of CPT. So I have had students who have done rotations when they are on F1. It is doable. Okay. All right. With that, thank you very much. Appreciate all of your time. Remember, you can take free profile review from us, and you can set up time to discuss your profile. Subscribe to our YouTube channel where you'll get the latest, and of course, Instagram. And you can always reach us. You can contact us. And if you have any questions on the upcoming match, we'll be having other webinars as well. So with that, thank you all and have a good rest of your weekend.
Thank you so much for watching. We hope that video provided valuable insights for your journey. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Instagram and Twitter. And check out our website for details on how we can guide you to a successful match.